On the dark night of August 8, 1963, a Royal Mail train was heading from Glasgow to London through the English countryside. Hidden inside its carriages were bags filled with cash, worth nearly £67 million today. Driver Jack Mills was pushing the train through the darkness at full speed when suddenly, out of nowhere, he spotted a red signal glowing ahead. Mills froze for a second because it was completely abnormal for that signal to be red at that time and on that stretch of track. Something about it felt wrong. But the rules were simple. Red means stop, so Mills slammed on the brakes and the massive train screeched to a halt in the middle of nowhere. For a few seconds, everything went silent. No movement, no sound, just darkness surrounding the train. Then, 15 men began stepping out of the darkness surrounding the train. But this robbery didn't begin that night. Months before that night in London, a criminal mastermind named Bruce Reynolds was planning something much bigger than ordinary robbery. He didn't want to do small bank robberies or street theft. He wanted one massive crime that could change his life forever. That's when he got the perfect opportunity. A secret insider from Royal Mail, believed to be a senior security officer, gave him highly confidential information. The insider revealed that on a certain date, the Glasgow to London Royal Mail train would carry an HVP carriage. HVP stood for high-value packages. This carriage did not carry normal letters. It carried money. Huge amounts of it. And because of a recent bank holiday weekend, this particular journey would carry far more cash than usual, nearly £3 million. That was an unbelievable amount. But the insider gave Bruce even better news. Normally, these HVP carriages had alarm systems, but on that exact day, the alarm-equipped carriages were unavailable. A backup carriage without proper security would be used instead. For Bruce Reynolds, this was the perfect target. He quickly built a larger team. Since his own gang lacked train robbery experience, he brought in another skilled group known as the South Coast Raiders. Together, more than 15 men joined the mission. Their plan was bold but simple. Stop the train, isolate the valuable carriage, unload the money, and disappear before police could respond. No guns, no unnecessary killing, just planning, timing, and speed. On August 7, 1963, at 6:50 p.m., the Royal Mail train left Glasgow Central Station. It was scheduled to reach London by early morning. There were 12 carriages and 72 postal workers on board. These workers sorted mail while the train moved. Everything looked routine. Later in the journey, at Nan Valley Station, the critical HVP carriage was attached directly behind the engine. Inside it were 128 mail bags full of cash. Normally, this carriage might carry around £300,000, but because of delayed financial transfers after the holiday, this time it carried almost 12 times more. As night grew darker, Bruce Reynolds' gang took positions near Sears crossing. Every man had a role. Some prepared trucks and escape vehicles, some waited near the tracks. One man was assigned the most important task: stop the train. Using simple but brilliant methods, he covered the green railway signal, connected a battery, and activated a fake red signal. Then he cut the nearby telephone line. Now the trap was ready. When Jack Mills saw the red signal, he had no choice but to stop. His assistant climbed down to use the trackside phone, but the line was dead. Before he could react, masked men rushed out from the darkness and overpowered him. At the same moment, other robbers stormed the engine. Jack Mills fought back, but one gang member struck him hard on the head with an iron bar. Jack collapsed, and in that instant, the real plan began. The robbers disconnected the engine and the first two carriages, including the valuable HVP coach, from the rest of the train. Their plan was to move this section about 1 mile ahead to Bridego Bridge, where trucks were waiting below. They had even brought a retired train driver to control the engine. But suddenly, the perfect plan almost failed. The replacement driver panicked. He did not know how to operate this specific train model. Time was slipping away, so the robbers made a desperate decision. they forced injured Jack Mills to drive the detached section himself. Bleeding and barely conscious, Jack obeyed his orders. The train moved to Bridego Bridge. There, the real robbery began. Inside the HVP carriage, postal workers were beaten, tied up, and forced face down on the floor. Then the gang started unloading. There were 128 bags weighing nearly 2.5 tons. The robbers formed a human chain, quickly passing the heavy bags from train to truck. They worked with incredible discipline. No panic, no shouting, no greed. They had only 15 minutes. And in that short time, they loaded 120 bags. Only 8 were left behind. Within minutes, millions had vanished. It was one of the most perfectly executed robberies Britain had ever seen. But even the smartest criminals make mistakes. Before leaving, one robber warned the tied-up workers not to move for 30 minutes. That threat seemed small, but it gave police a valuable clue. Investigators later used that time estimate to calculate how far the robbers could have traveled. After escaping, the gang reached Leatherslade Farm near Oakley, about 45 minutes away. At first, everything seemed successful. They celebrated. Some even played Monopoly using real, stolen cash. But their success did not last long. Police quickly launched a massive manhunt. Helicopters searched the countryside, roadblocks appeared, media coverage exploded. The gang planned to stay hidden for days, divide the money, and then disappear. But panic set in. They divided the money early and prepared to leave sooner than planned. Before leaving, they carefully wiped fingerprints and ordered one gang member to burn down the farmhouse. That final step was critical, and it failed. The man responsible took his share of money and ran away without burning the hideout. That mistake changed everything. Soon, police raided Leatherslade Farm. Inside, they found major evidence: mail bags, vehicle paint, food supplies, and fingerprints. Most famously, they found the Monopoly board the robbers had used. Even though the gang tried to clean the farmhouse, some fingerprints remained. And many gang members already had criminal records. Scotland Yard matched the prints. Now they had names. One by one, gang members were arrested. In the end, 14 out of the 16 robbers were captured. Only a few escaped immediate arrest, including the mysterious insider whose identity was never publicly confirmed. The courts called it the crime of the century. Many gang members received 30-year prison sentences, which were extremely severe at the time. Bruce Reynolds himself became one of Britain's most famous fugitives before finally being caught. Bridego Bridge became forever known as the place where history changed. But perhaps the greatest cost was paid by Jack Mills. The loyal train driver never fully recovered from the physical and emotional trauma of that night. His life was changed forever. If you love stories like this, watch how one ship almost stopped global trade. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because the incredible Mona Lisa painting heist is coming next.